G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some super cool sailors, but of course I have to share the microphone with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
38 degrees San Francisco last week,
Yeah.
12 degrees raining Sydney this week.
Oh, yeah. And you're going over to the UK in a couple of weeks.
Well, that'll be summer. That'll be 13 degrees.
Hey, we're dumb, actually. We're dumb because you're on the plane on the 24th there and I'm on the plane on the 26th there. How dumb are we?
No, we're not dumb. We'll just catch up when we get there.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's probably safer, to be honest. We've never been on a plane together. You don't know what might happen.
Oh, well, Bossy and I did it once. We missed all that travelling we did around the world together, and Bossy and I only ever did it once together and in business class, and boy, did the hosties have a good time.
I bet they did. Did you ask them that, or did you just insinuate
funny,
that?
Mate. Just two blokes who are happy, and the hosties didn't have any. They were not stuck up, not demanding. We were just we got spoilt. It was good.
Very good. Okay.
Speaking of Bossy,
he had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
This week he's got no voice. As per usual, it's high risk with Bice with that Land Rover Defender. We actually don't know where he is at the moment. We think he's broken down again. Genuinely think he's broken down. We
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I did see he'd been sort of gallivanting around a bit.
Anyway, doesn't matter. We've got a great guest this week. Bice is irrelevant. I'm actually super keen to have this discussion this week. Sorry, I just had to have a sip of my beer. Super keen for this one because I got to hang out with this bloke in San Francisco. We hadn't really met before, but there's one thing that comes across for our guest this week. The man loves sailing. He absolutely loves his sailing, and he's just frothing on it the whole time. And because of that love for sailing, and I'm guessing a certain high level of natural ability, he's managed to go on and win some world championships in the 49er and gold medal in the 49er. So please.
Done all right then.
Yeah, not too bad. Welcome to the show, Dylan Fletcher. How are you, mate?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, excellent. MBE too, by the way. MBE.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the run sheet. I looked at the run sheet today, Jordan. I saw that in the run sheet. Damn, that's young to have a bit MBE.
Yeah, does that get you into special parties? Like, what do you do with an MBE? Does it?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it's kind of all new to me. I've got to go to the Palace in a few weeks and get presented with it, which will be fun. I'll be putting on a suit, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go to the Palace in a few weeks. I've got to go there in an hour.
Palace is a pub. So genuinely, you've got to go and get, what's it called, indentured or whatever it's called, something like that, where you go in your suit and you get the award.
Yeah, you have to put tails on, and there's like no photography inside the Palace, and yeah, they present you with your medal. It's all quite serious, but I think it's going to be a fun day out. I don't know who else will be there. I'm sure maybe like Hannah Mills got an OBE, so maybe she'll be there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. I mean, it must have been a cool feeling when you got the call up.
Yeah, we got the letter, and then they were like messaging each other, like me and Stewie, about it. And then I think he'd moved house, but he hadn't got the letter.
Oh.
So he starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh man, what do I need to do? Who can I ring? What's the email address? You know?"
Oh dear. Okay. Well, you didn't start super early as a sailor. Like you started at 11, didn't you? You were 11 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, my parents are both ballet dancers. They tried to get me into that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't stand it.
The what?
What was it? What was it you couldn't stand about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get on with performing, and I don't know. It was weird, and I had these very theatrical parents, and I was absolutely
cool,
didn't get any of that. So they got me into sailing. And then when I was 13, I started racing and sort of got the bug, you know. Having wanted to be a Formula One driver, that didn't quite work out. So sailing was the next thing.
My whole view of you
Jordan's
just
stuck
changed.
on ballerina dances.
Like you as a ballet dancer, I never considered it. I could see it. That's fantastic, mate. I love it. So
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, no. So, like, I mean, I was pretty lucky because Mum's about 5'1" and Dad's 5'6", and somehow I managed to get to 5'8" and a little bit. So, I don't know where that came from, but I think some of the genes helped. I'm quite good at pointing my toes on the side of a 49er.
Yeah, fair enough. Good call.
I love the bit. The bit always counts, doesn't it? That little extra bit. Yeah. So, what did you start in, mate? You didn't start in, like, if you were 11. You didn't start in the Opties, from what my research tells me.
Nah, yeah, I just was down at the local sailing club and bought a Blazer Pico, which is not your probably standard Olympic sailing route into it. But I don't know, yeah, I just bought a boat. I just used to reach up and down the club, you know, my mates, go and get ice creams, and it was all pretty chilled and not serious. And I guess that's when I just really learned to enjoy the sport. And it wasn't, you know, parents didn't say, or they couldn't tell me what to do or not what to do. They just sent me off, and that was it.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it? Like, so I'll ask BP's question that he always asks, and he'll get grumpy with me. What was it like? What do you think it was that made you so successful?
Just probably sheer like determination. Because obviously I was quite late onto it. You know, I didn't get in an RWA squad till I was 16 or something. Like, so I remember saying, I want to go to the Olympics, you know, and sort of getting laughed at a little bit because I wasn't from one of the, you know, the posh yacht clubs. I didn't have,
we say not from the school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was kind of like having to do it off my own back, but I've always been, you know, quite determined and sort of just cracked on and got on with it. And it took a long time, I think, to get those years back that I missed as a kid, but it paid off in the end. Yeah, but there must have been, it's the determination. So when I did the intro, mate, I said, you know, like you're frothing for sailing. And the truth is, trying to pull this interview for you together with you was like, oh, I'm here at this regatta now. Oh, I'm sailing today doing this. Oh, hang on, I'm doing this. And even today we've had to go super early just so he can get you, because I think you're at Falling Week in Garda at the moment. So you're always sailing, mate. Yeah, no, I do love it. And I remember when I was at school and Mum and Dad are trying to get me to revise for my exams, and I'm just like reading some sailing book and want to just go down to the lake and go sailing, you know, and that was it. And they were like, oh, if you need to go and do well in your A-levels. And I was like, well, there's loads of kids of like A stars and A's, but there's not many kids that have won the 29er Worlds. I want to go and win the 29er Worlds. But hard to argue with me, you know. But yeah, I think. Yeah,
you just said you were going to go down to the lake to go sailing. Is that where it was all started? Yeah, well, I say lake. It was a reservoir. I actually learned to sail on the River Thames when I was 11, but then that was just like with school or whatever. And then we moved up into the Midlands, middle of the UK, and sailed on. There's loads of reservoirs and lakes around there, so they're all pretty small and but it was good fun. But I think I guess probably a lot of sailors, I just ended up I was quite quick in the boat. So when I was 13, 14 and started racing, although I may not have been able to do a lot of things, I seemed to be able to make a boat go quite fast. Well, you would have been light on your feet. Yeah, no, and it was good fun. So, I guess everyone probably misses those days a bit, right? Being a kid and no care in the world, just cruising around, sailing with your mates. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the secret. That's where I reckon good sailing, you just get those fundamentals from just sailing. You know, any time someone asks how they get their kid to be good, you just say, just get them out sailing non-stop. I was just thinking, though, because you were born near Surrey, so on the Thames, basically, Thames Ditton, but then going to the Midlands, isn't Giles Scott, wasn't he growing up on the Midlands? Is that in the Midlands? Yeah, there was actually a little local series that was like around all the local ponds and reservoirs and everything. And what was it called? I can't even remember the name of it now. But
it's quite a funny one because it's this little trophy, and Giles won like the Traveller Series or whatever it was, and then 2 years later I won the Traveller Series, and the kids there are racing now, and they're like, "Wow, there's gold medalist on this trophy. This is insane," you know.
Yep.
Something in the water. Something in the water.
Yeah, the gravel pits of the Midlands.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, super cool.
You didn't win that 29er World Champs, mate. You only got second.
Yeah, that's a bit of
I know.
that's a
I was
bit dismal.
devastated. Yeah, I know. Freaking Scott Babbage coming back. He hadn't won a 29er World either. He'd been doing it for about 10 years. He must have been 30, and he came back again to win it. I was like, come on, this is a kids class. You can't be coming at like 25, 30 and be racing again, because that's just not fair.
It's typical Aussie.
I'll have a chat to him when I see him. I'll pop down to Wallara and catch up with him on the weekend.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing, boy?
Typical Aussie.
I think he'd come second about 5 times, so he was due a win.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where you're going to go. Maybe you're going to go and have a crack at that.
Yeah.
Hey, what the hell's a 405?
Oh, great question. It's kind of like, I guess that you guys have, is it Flying 11s, right?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of a mix between a Flying 11 and a 29er. So
Okay.
4.05 meters, but it's got an asymmetric and just sort of, you know, a little bit like a rig, like a 420, yeah, but with an asymmetric height. So they're awesome fun. But we used to get 5 boats at an event and 15 at a nationals. So
Right.
it wasn't exactly, you know, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of sailors that sailed it, but where I sailed in the Midlands, there was quite a lot of them. Well, basically all of them, in fact. They were all the 15 were there. So it was a good boat. It's kind of died when the 29er came out, but it's where I learned, I guess, how to sail an asymmetric and got me on my way.
Very cool. Mate, the thing about you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean the Poms, is your team is so strong now. For you, I mean, it must be just incredible, one, the support that you get and the knowledge you can pick up being part of that team, but it almost so must be bloody hard to make it to the Olympics as a Pommy sailor.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive. Like, I think Giles talked about it a while ago, the sort of machine that is the British sailing team. It is impressive, the ability, the rate at which they're sort of churning these like very high level sailors out and sort of just going over and over. I think sometimes there's been a difference between getting people to that, I don't know, top 10, top 5 in the world to actually like consistently medaling or delivering golds. And I think that's sometimes where the team struggled in the past. But Tokyo, you know, the whole team did a really good job. And I think a lot of that was like such an amazing team vibe. You know, we went to Rio and I don't know, Tokyo was just a step on. Maybe it was because it was COVID and we're all stuck in a hotel and not allowed out and that sort of thing. But everyone really sort of got together. And I guess there was a lot of us as well from a similar age from the youth team. So a lot of us have sort of, you know, grown up together. And yeah, it was pretty special, actually. It was an awesome team to be part of.
You're definitely tight-knit. There's no doubt about it, you know, like you're a loyal group. But, you know, you went into the 49er class, which is, you know, like if you're going to go up against, like the standard in that 49er class at that era is just unbelievable. Like when you were growing up and you're thinking, right, here's my Olympic chance, I'm fighting for it in the Pommy team, I've got to really work there. And then you looked at who you had to compete against, you know, like, did you just go, how hard is this? Or did you just
a really
go,
cool question, really cool question.
I've got this. I can beat these pricks.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think ultimately, I mean, I remember I started, first Worlds was 2007. And I remember thinking, I can get an Irish passport. And I was like, should I get an Irish passport and try and just go for Ireland?
Eat with Ireland.
And see I don't know, like, see if not that they'd had some super talented sailors, but it was a little bit easier at that time than the UK. And I was like, oh, what should I do? I was like, nah, I think I'll stay with the team because you had access to, you know, sailing against the legends, you know, Chris Draper and Simon Hiscox and Stevie and Ben. And I don't know, maybe it's just plain ignorance. When you're that young, you're like, yeah, come on, I'm just going to crack on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to beat them, you know. And we got actually surprisingly close in 2012 of being so young and with not very much support. But it was a little bit too far-fetched, I think, in that first cycle.
But that's in the local side of things. But you know, when you're in 2007 and you go to a Worlds, I mean, Nathan was sailing pretty hard by then, I'm pretty sure, and you know, there was a bunch of guys that I guess you would have never met before but known about. I mean, that must have been pretty wild, rocking up and going sailing against that sort of level.
Oh yeah, I've got some fond memories of that Worlds being. We nearly got in Gold Fleet. We actually did get in Gold Fleet, but we didn't because we sort of broke one fundamental rule of not completing the right number of laps. Yeah, we didn't read the board, and they had a 3-lap race, and it was like in Cascais, absolute breeze on, and we were like 130 something kilos. We were so light. Anyway, we bashed around the race course, capsized a bunch of times, eventually reversed through the finish line. We're like, so feeling like we'd absolutely nailed it, got in and got told that by our coach, oh, you've got to retire because you only did 2 laps. We were like,
oh, no.
It was a 2-lap race. Yeah, anyway, I mean, fair play. So that cost us Gold Fleet. But I remember racing around and just, I remember actually another good memory was it was a really wacky day, and in qualifying, we were doing 3 laps. We knew we were doing 3 laps that time. And we nearly lapped Nathan in a race, and we'd also capsized on the first beat, rounded the windward mark 4th. And this is how crazy it was. We finished the race 7th, and having nearly lapped Nathan, he finished 8th.
Wow.
It was just bonkers that Worlds.
Wow. Cascais does do some funny things with the wind there, and it can be quite impressive, but yeah, challenge. It's the thing about the 49er though is it's so well sailed now as a boat. Like all Olympic classes, they just sail at such a high level, and it's quite interesting. So you missed out 2012, but you went in 2016. That was with Alan, I think. Elaine, do I say Elaine or Alan?
Alan's fine, yeah.
Yeah. So you went with Alan and got 6th at that Olympics, and then obviously Tokyo, a few lucky tacks came your way with Stuart, and away you go, mate. So
yeah, right.
Let's focus in on gold. How exciting? You know, how do you win a gold medal?
It's quite well. You know, Alan and I think we're a bit unfortunate, and we kind of we peaked sort of just after 2012, and we had a really good year in 2013 and like the start of 2014 and everything, and then we just sort of struggled basically, and then we sort of battled our way through the rest of the cycle. And I remember, you know, going to the Olympics being like, oh yeah, we're going to win a medal and everything, but actually when I looked back on it, I was like, we were always sort of a potential medalist, I call it. So like, yeah, if we had a good week and everything went our way and whatever, then we could medal, which is kind of where we were. We were 4th in a medal race. We needed to do quite a lot to medal, and we went for everything, sort of took out the Germans at the start, went for it, was kind of getting along, still not doing it, and then we capsized, pushing a bit too hard. But I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, we went for a medal. 4th, 6th, it's all the same, you know, it doesn't matter. And I teamed up with Stu, and instantly we went to our first regatta in Miami and won with a medal race to spare. And it was like, okay, wow, we've got something here, you know? It's sort of clicking straight away. And then what Stu brought was a lot of, he's really good at helping plan the big picture. And we worked with Jo Glanfield quite a lot, who was Hannah Mills' coach throughout her career. And I guess we just really broke it down. And I do remember sitting in this room in, end of 2016, and we were like, okay, how are we going to beat Pete and Blair, basically? Because ultimately, if they come back, they're going to be the boat that we've got to beat. And we said, well, we're not going to win with a medal race to spare like Nathan and Goobs did or Pete and Blair did in 2012 and 2016. If we're going to beat Pete and Blair, it's going to come down to probably pretty much a match race, or, you know, it's going to be super close come that final medal race. And then that kind of set the tone in terms of us putting quite a lot of emphasis on that medal race and, you know, delivering under pressure and being consistent. And I guess for me and Stu, you know, what we were sort of most proud of the whole Olympics was that medal race. You know, you can hear the onboard comms. Yeah. We're having a laugh go up the final beat, you know, coming up to the medal race, coming up to the top mark. Yeah, I can't even remember what we were talking about, but we were laughing.
I love it.
I mean, it was super to watch, and I think that was probably one of the highlights for me of the games. But let's just rewind back to the start of the regatta. You said just then that you were focused on trying to make sure that if you did get to the point where it was a match race in the medal race, you did get to that point. And was it kind of like playing out? You know, you said in your mind, or a lot of people say in their mind they've won regattas before they go to them. Had you sort of won the regatta before you went to it, or when you got to that medal race, it was like, righto, here we go. This is what we've been planning for.
No, I don't think we thought we'd won it. I think that ultimately we hadn't sailed against like Pete and Blair for nearly 18 months.
Yeah,
because of COVID. We'd sailed against other people that they'd sailed against and that sort of thing. And we, like everyone had their issues. Whatever it was, everyone was, you know, compromised in some way going into that Olympics.
Sure.
But ultimately, the form book of who we said was going to be in the top four were the boats in the top four. Yep. So it kind of went to guide effectively. But yeah, I think before the week, we just, you know, I think we're in a good place in terms of we thought we were going quite well, you know, but you were also nervous because you're going quite well. You know, you've got that opportunity to win.
Did that come in at any stage? Did you have to pull each other back and say, listen, keep focused, keep cool? You know, we're in a good spot here.
Yeah, I think like we had a bit of a wobble before the event with some of our equipment. Just again, due to container issues, we basically hadn't used the mast we raced with at the games. We'd done 2 days sailing with since 2019 before we got to Tokyo. And we put it in a container thinking we were really planned going to be there in May, and obviously couldn't go to Tokyo until just before the games. So we arrived there with our mast we've been training with in the UK and everything, which was quite good. And we've been going quite well with, but then we had our other mast, which in theory was our games mast, and we've used the training one for a few days. We're like, nah, this is not it. I was like, I've got a bad feeling, Stu. We've just got to switch. We've got to switch. And I know, you know, and he likes to use a mast for a bit longer than me and get revved up. And I was like, nah. So anyway, we put the games mast up, did 1 day sailing, and we're like, yeah, we're done. And we didn't sail for the next 4 days, basically. And then just did 1 day's training, like 1 hour sailing before the first day after that, and off we went. So, so it was a bit of a relief, I'm not going to lie, in that first race when there was ourselves and I think Pete and Blair were to windward of us, and we were just like, we were going, oh, here we go. Yeah. And we were going quite well, and both of us just turned around to each other at the end of the race and went, yeah, it's on, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so you had the strong feeling from the start.
Yep.
The regatta just came together for you.
Yeah, and then it was just, right, okay, just every day, top 3 day, you know? We know that by the end, all the good boats will be there, but let's just keep plugging away. Everyone has good days, everyone has bad days, just keep plugging away.
That's cool.
There you were laughing at the top mark on the last upwind leg.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I mean, that's you know, like we often talk about pathways and careers, and, you know, that must be a moment that you'll cherish the rest of your life. And for all the young people out there, this is something to aim for, yeah?
Oh, 100%. And I think it was an insane feeling. I think you can sort of, I guess, the photos and the video, best way, I guess, you don't really think about, I try not to think about what it's going to be like. And then when we crossed that finish line and that double take of, yeah, have we done it? No, yeah. I was like, yeah, no, yeah, we definitely have done it, you know, and it was just like, that was it, the full release of however many years of hard work. And yeah, it's definitely pretty special, and it gets emotional at times watching that medal race again. There's just so much on the line, you know?
Yeah.
You think you all these years of sailing, the games, were they going to happen? Were they not going to happen? 5 years of training together, and then it just comes down to that. Ultimately, that's why I love it. That's the best part of Olympic sailing. It's just the pressured environment.
Well, obviously, we're an audio podcast, but just talking to you now and seeing your face, we can actually sort of feel it. So it's wild. Love it. Good on you, man.
So the important question then becomes, right, how do you exploit this gold medal? Does it get me into pubs? I know you got married recently, so did it help you meet your missus? Did it, what does a gold medal give you, mate? Did you go into a car dealership and say, I'll take one?
I'll have a gold Commodore, thanks.
Yeah, right. I'm not very good, maybe very good at exploiting it. I've not used it that much yet. I don't think I've used it at all. In fact, maybe I got a booking at a restaurant for my wife's birthday. I think that's about all I blagged with it. I couldn't get, you couldn't get a table. I was like, bung them up. I was like, look, dropped everything I had to get a restaurant, a booking at a favourite restaurant.
You've got a letter from the Queen, haven't you?
Yeah. But I think, I think it's just nice to be, I remember years ago, in fact, after 2012, I was hanging out with Paul Goodison and he got out his gold medal and he was like, and showing me, and he's like, you'll have one of these one day. And you're like,
cool.
And it was, it's just quite cool to be part of those, guys, Goody, Perce, Bart, Ben, it's just nice to be handling everything and just be like, wow, we've done it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
It's super cool. Like, it is super cool. I mean, the reason I asked that question about what you could do is you know me well enough to know that I'd be running around everywhere, just like, dropping my laundry off to a laundromat and saying, just wash my clothes for me, or...
No, you'll be standing in the laundromat, no clothes on, with a gold medal around your neck. It'd
be like free beers, put it on the house, like it'd just be non-stop, and I guess that's why I never win a gold medal, because, too focused on the party results and you're so focused on actually achieving it, you haven't actually gone and exploited the benefit.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, has it sunk in? I mean, it's been a while now. It's obviously sunk in, but, not many people on the planet can say they're a gold medalist.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool feeling, and I think it's just that satisfaction of all those years of hard work, and I think as you get older, you realise it's not just about the gold medal. It's about everything that comes with it. We've won a lot of regattas, but also just the journey. The places you go, or the people you meet. And it's really just. Yeah, we're really lucky to have been able to have gone and achieved it, but also just had that journey.
Yeah. No.
Great point. I mean, this is another point. Sorry, Jordan. This is another point that's really, really important, is that, it is the journey. Yeah. If you do get the gold, I mean, that's the cream. But, it is part of the journey, which is what we're trying to put across here as well. Is, getting involved, make it happen, and just get out there and do it.
Yeah, 100%. And just follow your dreams. Like, if I'd have listened to all the people when I was younger, I would never have carried on. I only carried on because of my determination. I didn't get picked for things when I maybe should have, because I was like, I just didn't have the right background or whatever it was. So I think for anyone out there listening, just crack on and then just enjoy what you're doing.
Absolutely. And what about your parents? It's obviously still ballerinas. What did they say to you?
Yeah, they were absolutely stoked. Obviously, they were over the moon. They could barely watch the racing. They're obviously disappointed not to be out there, but I think they were like sat on. They were sat on there. They've got this old boat that they had, and they were sat on there like screaming at the TV at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Hey, obviously the passion you've got, the sailing and winning a gold medal. I did see an announcement at the start of the year that you're going again in 24 with Ross Horse. I hear that.
Horse.
Is that still the? We've got some inside information, mate. Is that still the case?
Yeah, nah.
Nah.
I'm actually, nah. I'm actually, hanging up my Olympic harness and retiring. So. It was fantastic to give it a go with Ross. And I said to myself after Tokyo, I was like, it's such a short cycle, and maybe with this new equipment and stuff, it'll be a good project. But in reality, kind of, it wasn't quite working out the way I wanted. The equipment in the 49er class at the moment is just a bit of a joke. They're having one, and I wanted to have some time to concentrate on some other projects. And so it feels good to be no longer Olympic campaigning and just sort of to relax.
Retiring from Olympics.
Wow.
That opens the door up for your 29er campaign.
Exactly, yeah. Make a comeback. Although I don't think I'd be able to helm anymore. I'd be a bit big.
It does open. You said other projects. So the first thing that popped into my mind when you said other projects is you are going to take up ballet. That was the first thing that popped into my mind. But in all honesty, what are you going to do, mate?
Yeah, what's the plans? Gold medalist.
Yeah.
The world's at your feet.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I'm just sort of trying to put a few things together. I mean, ultimately, I think, a lot of any sailor in my position, I'd love to have my own SailGP team.
Yeah.
And I'd also love to, be involved in the America's Cup at the end of the day, So those are the two big things that I'd love to do. Not the easiest, but neither's winning a gold medal. So at the moment, I'm putting a lot of effort into doing whatever I can do to try and make that happen. I think SailGPs, I've just been around there recently. I've been at San Francisco and Chicago, and to see how much that's progressed and people that want to get involved and everything is fantastic. So that's really taken off. And at the same time, obviously, the America's Cup is the America's Cup, and I'd love to obviously go and sail for Great Britain. But it's not easy.
Right.
No, well, there's not too many positions on an America's Cup team. I mean, I foresee that SailGP is going to be growing in the next couple of years. I would see that probably would be the from an onlooker would probably be a more of a productive path.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, isn't it? I think I certainly would love to get back, skippering a team. I love the SailGP racing, the format, the boats, the amount of racing that you do in a year and everything. That really appeals to me. I felt like I had unfinished business after the first season, and so it's ultimately just at the moment trying to put together a team effectively. Well, not put together a team. Find someone who's going to help, who's going to pay for it.
It's
okay,
interesting.
Jordan, weave your magic.
Yeah, no. Well, it's interesting because the whole SailGP program is up and flying. I've seen a lot of different models, but effectively from the perspective of if you've got money, it's like they're structuring it around that whole sporting team thing that, happens in the US. Like you own a baseball team, you own an NFL team, or you own an NBA team, and you make money out of it, because the license keeps going up in value and it's at the early stage and you're buying licenses. The price of the licenses are starting to climb because people are wanting to get into it. And I have seen different funding models. I know a stockbroking firm contacted me to get me to explain to them there was an issue where you could buy. They were trying to do an equity raising through a stockbroking firm for one of the teams, and they were asking me what SailGP was, and I said, "Oh yeah, back this one. It's somebody's going to get in cheap." So if you do want to reach out to Dylan and you don't have his contact details, well, Baccarati's easy to find, so we'll pass it on. No problems at all.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to have to be quick though, because Dylan, I'd like to put an offer forward to you. Would you be interested in skippering the Baccarati sailing team?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, who are we going to sail for? What's your flag?
Well, just Baccarati, the Baccarati flag.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah,
I think Jordan just spat his beer out.
I think that'd be hilarious if we could put a team in. I never actually thought about that, BP. You're a genius.
Why not? Well, we've got Dylan.
We're always dicking around with the Ginga Challenge for the Volvo, but now, or the Ocean Race, and now...
Well, Dylan's signed up. We've got him now.
We got access to...
Yeah. So we've got a gold medalist helming, so that's what we need. We need an attraction.
You're going to get good media coverage, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, just with us.
Mate, no. There'll be some marketing adventures, don't you worry about that.
Oh, I reckon there would be.
You imagine the fans, some of the fans we've got. Jesus Christ, they do some funny shit.
Hey, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, so because you've done this before, mate. You were the skipper of the GBR team in 2019. So what was it like? Like, it must be, because, we all crap on, we sail, but none of us have sailed the boats. You have.
No.
Yeah, it was awesome, to be honest. It was quite being plunged into the deep end. I remember our first sail down in New Zealand, and I hadn't actually raced or helmed a boat really bigger than a 49 in reality, racing properly or anything like that. And I hadn't sort of done a lot of big boat sailing or anything at all. And I remember having my meeting with Russell and then Draper and everything, and we put the team together, and we went out on the water. Well, the first thing is he's like, oh yeah, just there's a rib on each side. He's like, I'll just tell them what to do, just take it off the dock. And I was like, what do you mean take it off the dock? He's like, oh yeah, just tell the drivers what to do. And I was like, what? I have no idea what I'm doing. I was like, I normally got a 49er. Yeah, so we they were good. We got off the dock and then we went out, and then just, back then the flight control didn't really work so well. Yeah. So, it was like the cap just added the brake and off we went. And I think the first year was awesome. Obviously had a few issues, maybe sent it a little bit too hard at times, mainly in New York and then Cowes. But when we started that team, we said this is about winning in season 2. Like, it was about pushing the boat hard, trying to get the right team so that in season 2 we could then take it on. Because in reality, in season 1, it was going to be always too much of a stretch to take on the Aussies or the Japanese. But we were really happy that if you took the foiling races that we were in, like, we were always snapping on the heels of the Aussies and the Japanese, and had some really good races. So yeah, fingers crossed we I get to go and do that again. And I think, in fact, out of everyone in our team, I'm the only one who's not in SailGP. For everyone else that we got involved is all still in it. And Stu's the wing trimmer on the Swift boat, which is cool.
Yeah. You needed to be with as much respect as possible to your beautiful wife. You needed to just hang out and not marry off so quick, mate, so you could get another passport. You had to be a bit smarter than that. You married for love, not for passport.
Yeah, I did. I am in the process of getting another passport. So
you've already said the Irish. You can do the Irish side of things. Maybe we should have an Irish team.
Well, what?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I got my part. Well, I was in the process of getting it anyway because of Brexit and everything. It's quite handy to have an EU passport. But yeah, why not?
So is that the passport you're getting, an Irish one?
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Okay. Well,
Team Ireland. Here we go.
Here we go. The
where
Irish
are you going
team.
in the next couple? Where you're going over there, aren't you soon, Jordan?
Yeah. I'll be in Ireland in August.
There you go. It's all coming together for you, Dylan. It's all sorted out.
Yeah, I think it's all pretty a long shot. But I mean, ultimately, the way the format is at the moment, you can always have one non-national on the boat. So we've had. I mean, Phil's sailed for what? The Chinese, the Spanish, and now the Canadians.
Correct.
So he's the king of multinational.
That's it. That's
a
it.
multinational sailor. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good on him though, because he's proved his worth, hasn't he? Like, how good was that race in Chicago, mate?
Awesome.
And Bermuda, just stepping up, young fella stepping up.
No, I think it's really cool to see what he's done in terms of, especially this time round, he got to help really put the team together, and the Canadians obviously did a really nice job of how they selected all the crew and the work that's gone on behind the scenes. Because obviously their flight controller Billy is doing an absolutely fantastic job, and it really shows.
Yep.
Getting some experience like Phil and then Draper, and then all of a sudden they've got this effectively new team that's snapping on the heels and leading the standings.
Fully experienced. Fully experienced.
It's unreal. I think if you're putting a SailGP to get team together, you've got to have someone that nails the starts, someone that can fly the boat, like flying the boat's the massively critical skill, and then someone that can pick the shifts spot on, because that's where the gains are made. You know, if you can stay in those pressure lines, you make big gains. You know, the height difference and the speed difference is insane. So, you know, you're right. We've got to recognise every element of that team.
You basically just need, like the Canadians, if you get someone who, like Billy's flying the boat well, Draper's making the boat go fast, he's also making Billy's life easier, you know, and then...
Yeah, that's the key to it.
Just leaves Phil to get his head out and race, you know? Yeah. And then, like the last event, you saw the opposite, where the Americans were struggling a little, and then because the flight controllers or, you know, struggling or whatever's going on, then...
something was off,
And then you can't quite look around as much, and then you make, you know, and it all just spirals out of control. So I think that's what I love about that boat, though, is there's so many, you know, real few key people, and if it all goes well, you look like rock stars. If it goes badly, you're out the back door and you don't look like a rock star.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, mate. Like, one of the things I think about for you, Bud, is, you know, obviously the helmsman after you is a certain bloke that's won more gold medals than you. So I guess there's that element, and he's quite high profile. And you've rolled into the Moth class, you know, where like the Moth class, it's insane just how talented everyone is in that class. And, you know, you're fighting out at the front of the Moth class. Obviously that helps with staying switched on with the whole foiling gig. But I was just thinking, man, you bump into some talented, like you've bumped into Nath, you've bumped into the bloody Blair and Pete, you've got Ben, and now you've got Tom, you know, like it's just insane, mate. Like, how do you just roll out of bed and just go, you know, it's another easy day? Like,
that's what we love, don't we? Just love the competition, you know. I mean, I'm sure there'd be, you know, we could go and do something easier, but then it wouldn't be as fun, you know. That's the challenge makes it fun effectively at the end of the day. And I know it's, you know, when Ben came along and got the team, you know, I fully understood why he did it. And for SailGP, you know, he's one of the highest profile sailors, you know, in the world. So of course they want him. I just really hope to get the opportunity to race against him one day, you know.
Absolutely.
And I love the Moth sailing. It's a real challenge at my weight. I'm about 72 kilos. So I'm pretty much 15, 20 kilos underweight for the boat. And like that translates to quite a lot of speed. So it's hard work. But, you know, I keep on fighting and keep on doing everything I can. And hopefully I'll be heading to the Worlds later this year in Argentina.
Yeah.
So hopefully go and have a good result there. But it's quite an interesting one. I do sometimes find I'm like, oh, if I was like 10 kilos heavier, it'd be quite a lot easier. But then also for like an America's Cup helmsman at the moment, they're just dead weight. So you want to be small. Yeah. And in the SailGP as well, they're also sort of, you know, you want the weight on the grinders and that sort of thing. So it's kind of funny. Like I'm struggling with my weight in this respect, but actually it would be more beneficial in like the AC and stuff like that.
100%, mate. The more talent you can pack into a smaller frame in foiling, the better it's going to be. You know, America's Cup, SailGP.
That's Jordan's philosophy.
No, it's true though. Like as you say, you concentrate the weight into the grinders. You know, like it's a bit like a 470. You have the smallest person you can on the helm.
On the helm, yeah. And
the tallest, lean, praying mantis-looking human being you can on the wire, and then that's your perfect setup sort of thing. And with the foiling...
That sums up Will pretty well.
Yeah. With the foiling, yeah, you want small helms people.
The praying mantis looking human being possible. Love you, Will.
Yeah, the 470 helms are something else, aren't they? Yeah, tricky as well. Yeah, I think you're completely right. Ultimately, you know, with this AC going to cyclors, those guys are going to be producing some massive watts, and it's quite an interesting challenge physically, because, you know, normally in cycling, all the tour riders, you know, weight is everything. So you've got to have a lot of power, but you've got to be super light.
Yep.
But this doesn't matter. You know, ultimately there's a weight limit. But ultimately, if, you know, you lose a few kilos off the back of the bus, that means you get a few kilos at the front. And if they can produce more watts, it doesn't matter if they're effectively heavier. All they want is the watts. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're, producing over 500 watts by the cup for 30 minutes, which is mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling.
Absolutely mind-boggling. I've got this picture though. They want their weight down low, so they're going to be nothing up top, and they're going to be all thigh muscle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
it's one big giant thigh muscle.
I'll tell you who that is, BP. That is
Who's that, mate?
A track sprint team. If you go down to any cycling track
I know.
and you look for the 1K,
I know.
The sprinters
I know exactly
to the 1K.
What you're saying.
Yeah. They got. I can see that coming out. They get off the boards and get in the water, team. So I got no doubt.
Bit of Lycra's coming back to us. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, so obviously I saw you doing. Is it the UK or the British or the Pommy or the English Moth Nationals just gone the other day? I was watching a bit of that just to track you. I can't remember what they were called. I get so confused.
Yeah. We had the UK Nationals, and it was good. I've been working on a new boat called the Aero Set, and it was the first. Like, the boat just got launched the week before the Nationals, so it was a bit of it was early days, but the boat held together. Unfortunately, I got beaten by a couple of points by Simon Hiscox in actually Tom Slingsby's World Championship winning boat.
Oh yeah.
So okay. I don't. So maybe Tommy won because his boat was better. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about this new boat at all? Because the development that's going on in the class is just never ending. I mean, we don't see it hands on here, obviously, but there was a lot going into it a year ago, 2 years ago, but it seems to continue now. You want to talk about the boat?
Yeah. So you had the Mach 2 came along, and everyone had a Mach 2, and then the X set came along, and there was a bit of a mix between two of them for a while.
Yep.
And then basically the Beaker Moth came out, and the Worlds last year was 1-6. The World, so it was sort of fairly dominant display that was a boat to have. So Simon Maguire asked Kevin Elway, who designed the Exocet, to go away and basically design the fastest sort of Moth he could upwind for aero. And so this is basically the Aeroset is what has come out of it. So it's still got the same foil package and that sort of thing as the Exocet. And it's just, so now we're just basically seeing how it's really performing. And I think it's, from what we've seen on the water, it's basically doing what it's saying. Me at my weight, I shouldn't be able to compete with the heavy guys, So to be going like a similar speed at wind or sometimes better, it's showing basically that it's doing what it needs to do. There's still obviously more work to do, and I'm sure the Beaker will be getting faster and new foils but it is never ending. And as the boats get faster, then we can also use smaller foils, so because there's less aerodynamic drag, then we can go down smaller foils again, then we go even faster downwind. So it's just, it is never ending. I think a good sort of idea of the speed gain is in Weymouth, in the harbour, it's about 0.95 a nautical mile, the course that we can get fit in. And, if you go back 5 years, it was taking 20 minutes or 21 minutes or something. And now we're doing the same 2 laps in 16 minutes, basically.
Right.
Oh, that's huge.
Well, that free time to be at home with the family.
Yeah, just quickly get home and another 5 minutes, got to go another race here. Okay, so you, sorry, Jordan, just let's touching that last on the new Exocet. So you're feeling positive about the new boat?
Yeah, no, it's gone really well. Like it's been really rock solid. Sort of, a lot of the time boats come out and they break, and it's been absolutely rock solid. I haven't had any gear failure touchwood yet, so super happy with that. And so just at Pointing Week now, and it's a good test here because we've got Paul Goodiston, Ruggy Tita, who's got a new Manta, Simon's in, Hiscox is in, Slinger's boat, and there's a lot of good sailors, a lot of good boats. So we're just putting it through its paces and seeing how it goes.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. We're big fans of Falling Week, and we get on well with the organiser there. So he's part of the Barkarati family. Are you seeing anything unique or cool that's in any class? Because I know there's like 60 or 70 moths, but there's anything turns up to Falling Week. Is there anything there that you just go, holy shit, look at that?
Yeah, there is some pretty crazy stuff. I love Falling Week. I think, well, I guess a lot of people do, which is why we get nearly 70 moths for an event that's not even Europeans or Worlds or anything. Yeah. And so what have we got going on? There's this Moth challenge, which is like trying to build like more environmentally friendly moth.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. There's some unique designs. One of the boats has got wooden wing bars. One's got aluminium wing bars, and there's some crazy stuff going on there. I think one of the boats is built from flax.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
They've got this it's called a mantra or something, which is like a bike on the water that foils. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
So you literally, you pedal and it gets up on the foils, and then you just cruise around like you're on your bike, but you're half a meter above the water. It's like, wow, yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. Not seen that before.
Love it.
And then you go all the way up to that Candela hydrofoiling, electric powered speedboat that's zipping around the racecourse.
Wow. It's in a really shitty place to sail, a place called Lake Garda.
Yeah. Why would you? Just why would you?
Why would you? Life's tough, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm actually sat here on the balcony and looking out over the peelers in this morning. Absolutely looks glamorous. So hopefully the aura is good this afternoon and we get some more racing in. But I love it in Garda. I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? Like amazing weather, good pizza, nice club. What more do you need?
Oh, that's it.
Perfect, mate.
Life's good.
Yeah. I want to throw out I've got a thought. Are you going to be in Portsmouth for SailGP?
Plymouth. Yeah.
Plymouth.
Sorry, I hope so. Yeah. So the Moth Europeans are the Monday to Friday before.
Yeah.
So I've got a ferry Friday night, and then I'll get in Saturday morning and probably ping straight down to Plymouth. I don't know what I'll be doing there yet, but I'll certainly be around.
Okay. So I'll be there, right? So I don't know who owes who beers at the moment, but I think you and I paid for a bloody shit ton of beers and nobody else has paid us back, so we can go and reclaim some of those. Afterwards, have you thought about going offshore, mate? Have you done any offshore racing?
Yeah, I've not done any offshore racing, but it is something, I want to do. I'd love to go and do a transatlantic or anything like that. I think a few people describe it to me as type 2 fun. Giles did it recently, or like in the earliest year, and he was like, it is fun, but it's also not that fun. But afterwards, it's really cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't find myself think I'll be an offshore sailor for life, but I wouldn't mind a crack at it.
Okay. So here's the thought process I've got, and BP will have to. It's all on BP. I don't know if you know, mate, but BP's brought to market this double-handed offshore racing boat, the X2, and he's going to be. You're in Southampton. Sorry, I was in Gold Coast there. Southampton, just around that same time, SailGP. So maybe Dylan can come over and go for a yacht on the X2.
Absolutely, love to take you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, are you doing Cows Week?
No, the boat won't be doing Cows Week. It's just arriving that week. So unfortunately, I'll be over plugging away at the marina, putting it all together and getting it sailing. But we'll come after Cows Week, and I'm sure that you could come out for a blast.
Nice, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. No, it's the new Far X2. It's going really well, so we're really happy.
There you go.
Yeah,
we'll see if you've got the pension for it, mate.
Set it up. We'll set that up, no problems.
Yeah. Cool. I think Shirley, she's gone down that path. So, you could just take her on, have bragging rights, sail past her and just go, here we go.
I think that would be pretty challenging. Yeah. Maybe I'll just get seasick and be just useless. I don't know what I'll be like.
Doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter. You've proved enough. Right. You've proved enough. No one's going to disrespect you. That's the truth of it. Cool.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we're having a lot of fun. Mate, a ton of pleasure to chat to you, bud, as usual.
Thank you very much. It's been awesome. Nice to chat to you guys.
Yeah, great to meet you. And I think the biggest thing I take out of it is the enthusiasm still in the voice. I mean, there's a lot of times when you get to the the pinnacle that it sort of becomes just a drag and not fun, and you're only doing it because you're there and that's all there is to it. But with you, I can sort of feel that you're still loving it. And I think that's a big thing for all the young'uns out there, that if you are enjoying it and loving it, you'll go wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like we've got a SailGP team coming, whether it's
Sparkarati SailGP team,
or it basically, if you're looking to own a team, we've got a great skipper for you. So just reach out.
We might release him. Depends on the dollars.
Yeah. All the beers.
All the beers. That's it. All right, mate.
That's our currency. That is our currency.
Yeah. Ton. Have fun at Falling Week, mate. Good luck at the Euros, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Nice one.
Yeah. Right. See you in a couple of weeks or a few weeks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Positivity, perseverance, all that. Late starter, just didn't accept the fact that he was not going to make it. And he made it. Yeah,
he's. I really enjoyed that interview, mate. I like it. I really enjoyed talking to Dylan, and just seeing the determination. And he does froth about sailing a lot. Like he's.
I picked up on that.
Yeah. So it's super cool to see him, and just think about. Like he's fighting for skipper spots with Ben Ainsley.
It's another level. I'm not saying that, it's great to see people excited, but it's great to see people succeed against, you wouldn't say against the odds. He's obviously got some form of natural ability.
Yeah.
But, like people all the way, in all walks of life, it doesn't matter what you do, there's always people say, no, you can't do that. You just got to not listen. If you believe you can do it, you go out there and do it.
Yeah.
To whatever level.
Love it. Mate, I hope he gets to go for an X2 with you in England. So that'd be fun for you, mate. You'd have a ball, I reckon.
I will be looking forward to catching up with him. There's a few other people lined up as well. So it's going to be a really, really busy time in the UK. So looking forward to it. Absolutely.
The J-Dog has a couple of down days between events in England. So you never know.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Right. Well, I might give him a call.
All right, mate, let's move on to club events. A few little events coming up. Right now, ongoing is the RS Aero Worlds. We never talked about the RS Aeros. I'm not quite sure why. I dig them. I think they're a good boat. Hey?
Quite a fleet here in Sydney.
Yeah, quite a fleet. Huge fleet in Victoria, huge fleet around the world. They're having I think it's their 4th World Champs. It started on the 24th of July, went through to the 1st of July, so it's over and done, I think. But it was on our bad for missing it. I'm not sure. I have reached out. If anyone from RS Boats is out there, I have actually reached out to your CEO a few times just to come onto the show. So come on and we'll have a chat because I'm interested. Cool boats, sailing at Columbia River Gorge, which is just an iconic location. So super cool. Yeah.
Well, so who got up?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the results. I'm going to. You don't have to ask me questions like that when but I'm just trying to see if I can quickly get there. Can't quickly get there. Go to the event. Look, if you want to find the results, go to the website. Apologies. I thought your racing had only just started, so bad by me.
All good.
The other one is one I do know that's coming up is. The Youth Worlds, the Youth Sailing World Championships coming up. We should mention those 450 sailors from 69 countries in The Hague in the Netherlands. Okay, starting on the 8th of July. So we know The Hague very well. I'll tell you a funny story, BP. I don't know if I told you this. When we were doing all the Volvo stuff, we had an office in Lisbon. We had the facility in Lisbon. Our office is in Alicante, Spain. Basti and I lived in Australia, and my hairdresser was in The Hague in Den Haag in the Netherlands because I used to be there so often. So it was just it's a great little spot. The kids will have a good time there. The Dutch are fantastic sailors. They love their sailing. So for all young sailors up to the age of 19, starting, it's a world sailing event. So it's the proper thing. It's the Youth World Champs. This is a massive event. Wanted to bring that up. So good luck to everyone competing. I think it's going to be unreal. But the real unreal one is
the real unreal one.
The real unreal one. You know, my bias coming out here, the Finn World Masters in Helsinki, starting this weekend. The interesting thing about this is that the Finns first showed up at the Olympic Games in Helsinki in Finland. And so this World Champs 70 years ago. So this World Champs is 70 years since that Olympics. And so they're having the World Champs in Helsinki in Finland, just starting on Monday the 3rd. So as this goes to air. And we know they turn up en masse, the Masters sailors in the Finns. I think I'm trying to remember how many boats. It's like 130, 150 boats. 125, there you go. 125 from 22 countries. Not bad.
Still a huge turnout, isn't it? I mean, I don't think that we're ever going to see it waver. I think the Finn is always going to be dearly loved.
I think you're right, mate. Particularly the oldies. The old blokes seem to just go back into the Finns, you know, because they're a hard, painful boat. And I reckon it's a try, you know, like you've got to hike all the time and you've got to pump, you've got to be strong and fit. And I think it's just midlife crisis. Old blokes hanging on.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't disagree with you. I think it is. I can still do this. I'm still young until I get out there.
This conversation might come relevant for an item I've got on the run sheet later on.
I would get out there and we would last like probably halfway up the first work and then we'll be sitting in. That would be us.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I love it. All right, so a few events coming up. The old teams. They just started last night. They're doing a little triangle loop around the Atlantic.
Just a little one.
Yeah, a little one, as they do. So I tried to get some coverage on this for the listeners. I can't remember what it's called. And I sent a note to our little thing and it's not sitting there. Anyway.
Finisterre Atlantic.
Finisterre Atlantic. Thanks, BP. I knew we...
Yeah, no worries. I'll help you out any time. You just got to ask.
You're a legend. All right, so Finisterre Atlantic, I haven't been able to find coverage for it, but it's happening, it's on, if you're into it, and who's not into the old teams, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're cool. So I think there's 4 or 5 boats racing, 4, I'm pretty sure, of the 100-foot rocket ship trimarans just flying around above the water. It'll be unreal. I hope they send some video off, but I found it on Facebook, so if you're looking for it, just... search on Finisterre, Old Team Finisterre, something like that, and you see how you go. Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week, bud. We've got a few potentials this week.
I'm going to have to rely on you here.
Yeah, I know. Your computer died, so we're trying to do this with jury rig and everything.
I'm man down. I'm just looking at a screen. Yeah. It's blank. Nothing there. But nothing changes, really.
We can't fight Bice here, and you've lost your computer. And I'm on my reserve computer, so... no one cares.
Well, you know, when we run such a super successful, highly financial podcast like this, you know.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. All right. First one. Nice email from Peter Gibbons' nephew. Found our podcast after listening to...
Gibbo.
Hey?
Gibbo.
Gibbo, yeah, Gibbo. Yep. After listening to the Jess Fielding talk about the solitaire. He's a US sailor, second season in France, giving the Class Mini a red-hot go. So he's just reached out to let us know that in a few weeks the Mini Transat start, which is the biggest event in the Minis, as BP will testify, 2,600 nautical mile, 2 stages, out to the Azores and back. Actually, that'll be a nice run. It'll be either horrible or nice. It's going to be one of the two, isn't it, BP?
Oh, the Azores race? Yep. It is a tough one, yeah.
Yep.
It's a very tough one. It can be good. It can be gnarly. So I've never done it, but I've obviously been immersed in the mini world back in the day, a while back. And a lot of the
guys that they use this as their tough test because the mini transit, once you get down to the Canaries, can sort of be a bit, trade windy and 15 knots, and it's a lovely sail. Yes, it's hard on the body and all, but this one is potentially a tough test for your boat and for you personally. So that's why they nut this one out.
Yeah. Well, good luck, mate. And thanks for that email. It's a nice one. The other one that was a nice one we got was Alex Simonis. So a few weeks ago, when we were talking to Stephen Ladd, we did a bit of a chat about the OOR event or the California the California offshore overall event and how this refurbished boat had won. So the owner is Alex Simonis, and he's reached out to us and he's just sent us so much detail about his boat. He's told us the colour.
I did see the pictures and I looked at the boat and I went, holy.
He's done some good work, yeah?
Yeah, no, it's a great project, and it just shows that, when you put your mind to something like that, you can come up with something, because that little thing tore it apart. Pall Mall, it says his name. It was in seafoam green, which I said I quite like the colour. She's a little giant slayer, 2,500 pounds, whatever that translates to, about 1,000 kilos, I think, just over 1,000 kilos, just over a tonne. Massive project, bringing it back to life. And then we've got a ton of photos. Really nice email to get. We're going to try and follow up a bit more on that, I suspect, is where we lie on that one at the moment. So that's a good one. You're into it, aren't you, BP? I think that was that you or Bryce? Well, I had some comms with him, and I was really interested because being in San Francisco, that was kind of the goal, to potentially compete in that event, but we obviously missed it for shipping with the X2. But it was just really good to see that it's happening, and it's it's got such a big following, and the double-handed side of it is involved in that as well. So it's a good race week. We should get onto that next year when it's on.
Yeah, cool. Another letter that, we get thousands, so we sort of stream through them, but I think there's some interesting topics, is around the safety one. John Wern sent in a note, why the F isn't it mandatory for a yacht to at least demonstrate they can retrieve a person from the water once a year as part of their entry into the sailing season, and at very least as part of the sea safety survival course? He went on and goes on to quite a bit of detail. 98%, the conclusion, 98% of their people probably have no idea what they're doing. I've practiced it in the past and it's on the list for the start of the season. Genius idea. I love it.
Absolutely genius idea. I had this conversation in my double-handed group the other day. We've got a WhatsApp group, and I was pretty, not say disappointed with the response, but just one of the comments was, coming back saying, I've done it before and I know how to do it. And it's like, okay, it's not really what we're talking about here now with this particular situation. We're trying to bring it to the fore.
Yep.
And people like John Schaefer with his program is actually making it a serious document, if you like, because the Sea Survival and Safety course, which was pushed in after obviously 1998 and made mandatory now for 50% of the crew on board or whatever it is now, there's no doubt that it's improved things. I mean, getting into a life raft when it's upside down in a pool is all good and well. It's a life raft in a 5 metre sea in 50 knots of breeze when it's upside down is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So, it's the same with this. I'm sure that it's going to move toward a mandatory exercise and a drill, and I hope that everyone takes that a lot more serious.
Yeah, good work. Even if it's not mandatory, just do it for your own safety. Like, it's just common sense. Get out there and do it. I think we just need to prioritise safety a bit more, because the time you need it is when you're not expecting it. So it just needs to be subconscious. We say this because we've lost mates. We've lost mates at sea. So we just don't want to lose any more.
And been in situations when, let's be honest, we're talking about it from a level of experience. This is real, and I think it needs to be serious.
Yep. The other one that we got, Ella Boxall reached out saying, she's already had people reach out to her. She was the sailor and data engineer looking for a ride for the Hobart. She's already had a few contact her already. So you want to jump onto her. So she's popular. So that made us happy to see that, Ella. Good work. She's still passionate for the show. I gave her grief about not listening anymore on a Monday, and she said it's because I'm not in the sail loft anymore. That's nothing to do with not listening. So,
What's the problem there, Ella?
Yeah, what's the problem?
I mean, is it just got reception in the sail loft or what?
She's listening, mate. She just said not listening in the sail loft.
I know before to us, we'll bite back.
I reckon John Wern. I'm going for John Wern on the email.
Well, I'm going to split it. I'm going to go for Alex Simonis. Old Gibbo, he is worth following with his mini transit escapades. Did I just stutter?
You're right, mate. Keep going.
I did. Alex put a lot of work into that project, and I really enjoy that type of thing. So I'm going to split the difference and go with him. So,
So both of them may or may not receive a pack. Yeah.
In the famous words of one Nick Bice, yes, you will both may or may not receive, but I'm going to stick with my decision there.
Yeah. And if you're chasing Gibbo, it's PGN Ocean Racing. If you want to follow him, he's pgnoceanracing.com. So you can follow that. So that's cool. So good work.
Just say one thing. Keep sending your letters in. We love it. It's cool, and we like hearing what's going on out there. So if you don't get mentioned, it doesn't mean you haven't been seen.
Yep. Cool. All right. We'll move on. We've got no hot topics with Bice, obviously, because there's no Bice. But we do mention that Falling Week's on. So if you're interested in that, just jump onto that. BP. This is going to be an interesting one, my friend. Are you actually currently racing in the Globe 40 race that got underway on the 26th of June?
Well, I know where this is going.
Where's it going?
I just pull ropes, man. I just pull ropes. Make no decisions. Yeah, I read this, and I looked at the picture, and I can't quite work out what's going on in the old brains of the French there. Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, a Globe 40 race, so the Open 40 class started on the 26th. So it's a circumnavigation of the planet. There's 7 Class 40s racing, which was a lot less than they were hoping for. They had initial 15 entered. It started in Tangier in Morocco. Double-handed. First round the world race that departs from Africa. And at the start, there was a collision.
On the start line. I'm sorry. I just want, before you go on, I want to just reiterate, this is a around-the-world yacht race.
Of 7 boats. So a crowded line of 7 boats, and there's a port starboard at the start.
I've heard that it was the short start line was way too short and way pin-end biased. It was a 14 start by a mile. What are they thinking, the start officers?
I don't know, but it's just hilarious. Like, as you said, it's a around the world race. I think they got a bunch of stopovers though, so 2-man teams, so you can make crew changes, is what I understand. It's mainly amateur. In the rules, at least one has to be an amateur. I think most of them are just amateurs, so no real professionals. There's about 8 stopovers. It's probably worth a look. Those 40s are cool boats.
They are. And this is an event that has been run before. It's not like it's the first time. And I'd love to see it get more traction. It's a big thing. It's a big effort. And if you are, you look at I think there's a Japanese team there, and there's a French. There's only one French team, which is a bit of a shock. So the USA. I think there's a couple of USA teams, and so it's attracted some more sort of global entries. I'd love to see it get more traction for sure. And I mean, a Class 40 is, it's a lot more accessible than a mocker, obviously, but it's good.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of it too. I'm with you, bud. I'd like to see more of them, double-handed. Maybe the 30s will start doing something. Do you reckon that could happen?
Well, I don't really. Yeah, I mean it could, but it's a big call. I mean, there's a lot involved, and that's where I was going to a second ago. That it's a massive effort to just sail around the world, let alone race around the world. Yeah. So it's a huge thing.
Well, there's a lot of people doing it, so it should be fun. So then the question is on the run sheet, my friend. Now that we've picked on you, here's your chance.
Sorry, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Here's a chance to pick on me. I'm getting to a stage where I'm frustrated, BP, because I'm I'm always off doing things, right? I never get to sail anymore. I'm coaching or I'm off at events talking. And so I have very little sailing time. It's been years since I've sailed properly. What boat should I get? What should I be sailing? I need to go sailing, BP.
Mate, I honestly believe that you should get a Far X2.
I need a partner for an X2, but yeah, I'll be deep on that one. But go on.
No, what do you? Well, I don't know.
I was thinking of a dinghy, mate.
Want to slug it out and hike all day, or what do you want to do?
No, actually, I'm quite happy sitting on the couch and relaxing, but I do need to sail. I need to do something, but I have no clue. Okay, how about this? This is the best way to handle this. cheers@barkarati.com. The punters can vote. What? Right? So let's give them the parameters. I'm, what am I, 6'3", 190 centimetres, 98 kilos, 95, 98 kilos sort of thing.
Shoe in Bicey for that one. I won't go there, but...
My wife just looked around at me.
He would say something, relatively sort of smart about the size of your head.
Yeah.
You'd have to say has above average writing moment.
Above average riding moment, that's it. And it's probably got to be a single hander, I think, because I can't commit to any programs because I'm always gone or I'm on a plane somewhere. So it'll be sailed once or twice a week occasionally, like it's not going to be serious. My racing days are over. So
I've got the boat for you and I've got the class that's coming, that's in full swing. And I honestly believe it's an okay dinghy for you.
An okay dinghy, right. So there's the nomination, righto. But are you happy? Are we happy for the punters to whale in on this one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love to. Yeah, there's probably, a bunch of people out there that would love to have you in their class. Yeah.
No. So cheers@barkarati. Just let us know. I would be interested because I can't work it out, mate. This will be fun, I think. This could be fun.
Well, the world's opening up again. Let's admit it. The world is opening up again. Yeah. And you did say that when you were travelling and in your prime, you said you had your hairdresser in the Hague.
What a stupid thing to talk about.
What you could end up having is a boat in other countries that are sort of popular in the countries, and you walk up and you do an event.
So that opens up the avenue to global list of classes, potential boats. There's no limit. Yeah, it can be in any country.
It's like it was like Dylan mentioned the 405s. I mean, you sort of thought, well, 405. It's like a little baby 505. Anyway, let's see what comes back.
Yeah. Oh, have at it, listeners, and have as much fun as you want because that's the whole gist of this. We're giving you an open avenue to take the piss out of us. So I'm looking forward to it. With that interview last week with David Tillett on the rules thing, he brought up the 505 thing with Soz and saying how there was the protest.
I was obviously with you in an interview, and I listened to it the other days. Yep, so I'm onto this. Yep.
Yeah. So the other party in the protest, who's a good mate of mine, so I'll say that Mark Salisbury and Nick Patterson, who Tillett was referring to, great mates of mine, and the other party in the protest, Dean Blatchford, another great mate and just a fantastic bloke. So two really fantastic teams and talented sailors, world champions, all the whole thing. I was listening to that. So Blatchford reached out to me, sent me a message.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I listened to the Tillett interview. He mentioned the 5-0 protest with Mark Soz and the rule interpretations. I had a few top sailors advising me. Berkey, so Glenn Burke, Ian Fresh Burns, Peter Gilmore, who incidentally got Brian Willis to advise. It took 6 months to sort it out. As disappointing as it was not to be the winners, Mark and Pato were and are mates of ours. They were fast and deserved their win. Regards, Dean. So, Dean, that was interesting. I like that because Dino, super talented sailor, and obviously losing a nationals is not easy on a protest. But look at the level of quality on both sides. You got Tillett on one side and all those guys on the other side. Jeez, that must have been a hell of a hearing.
Well, you probably know what actually happened. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it sounds like it was fought to the bitter end.
I can't remember now, but I'm not going to. I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was just an interesting one to bring up.
Interesting that we had the response. So obviously shows that there's an element of respect there also for the decision.
Yeah, very cool, mate. The other one I want to quickly let people know is there's a film by Jesse Martin and Don McIntyre. So the Golden Globe race is due to kick off, I think, in September. It goes every 4 years. It's about to go again. But there is a film release coming out in August 22, a film by Jesse Martin and Don McIntyre called The Voyage of Madmen. Official film release. Who dares wins, but why? Yeah. 18 set out, 5 sailed home. I just thought I'd bring everyone would be keen to see that, I reckon. All our listeners would be into that. So just thought I'd mention it, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the title sums it up. Hey, Jesse Martin and Don McIntyre fit the bill.
It's so true. So true.
Love you, blokes. Love you. All good.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to have a look at that for sure. I mean, we've all got an element of that.
Yeah.
We don't want to hide behind the fact that we get out there and do crazy things.
Well, I guess we're pretty close to those guys, so they'll send us a link. So if we'll be able to publish it for you as soon as it's available. We'll let you know. So there's no issues at all on that one. So if you just put it in the back burner, let yourself know that it's coming up, and we'll be off and away. The last thing I wanted to talk about, my friend, is the race to Alaska.
Oh.
Okay, I found something on YouTube.
Right.
So this race to Alaska that's just come up, there's sort of 2 legs to it. I didn't know this. We just sort of mentioned it. They have the first leg is a 40-mile run across the bay, and it's
was brutal.
Yep, it's called the Proving Ground. Have you seen this? Are you onto that?
Yeah, I've seen some photos actually, and there was a story of one of the catamarans actually flipped backwards.
Yeah, I think it was a wetter trimaran of all things.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
and then the whole purpose of this is there's no support for the 600-mile race after, so you've got to prove that you're capable of doing it, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And you can turn up in any craft. So that's what they're looking for. So there's some YouTube footage called The Proving Ground, I think it is. And exactly it shows, and there's a bit of a discussion about it, but the interesting thing is it's not a race. The Proving Ground element is not a race. What you've got to do is you've got a start date and a date you have to finish by, right? So you just got to prove you can sail your boat or get your boat across, right? So you don't have to race across, right? So some of these punters headed out straight away into really bad conditions, like wind against tide, really rough conditions. And I think there was a bunch of 18-year-olds or something who had a yacht that they were going to do it in, and they may or may not have got on the piss. I don't know, but they didn't take off until a day or two later once the hangovers cleared, and they got a nice clean run across. So with weather modelling now,
it's not hard.
It's not hard. Common sense, people.
Yes.
But it's probably worth a look. So just the race to Alaska, the Proving Ground, little discussion for you there. So a bit of interest for the punters on that one.
Yep. No, and that actually came about from our discussion of getting listeners to put in their events that we want to talk about. And that's good. That we've managed to get that a bit of airtime. So good luck and have fun is the key. Yeah.
And we're still open to more discussion. So anybody wants to publicise their events, feel free, mate. We're here to help. That's what we're doing. We're here to help. So more than welcome. We should be helping Bicey though, BP.
I think we should. Have you heard from him? I mean, I know because we recorded. This is the outro to this particular episode, and it's been a bit of a jaunt recording this one, but we haven't heard from him at all.
We've lost him.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was some sort of AIS thing for Land Rovers specifically. Because they have so many problems. I was wondering maybe there was something specific for them.
Actually, that's a good question because obviously a PLB is the solution. We need to put a PLB on Bicey is effectively what we need to do. I was talking to a manufacturer of like EPIRBs and PLBs and all that. Like I was having a chat to them because there's a great manufacturer based in Australia, which we know really well. And I was wondering if we should actually get somebody from there to just talk about the process, and maybe that might be interesting so people understand them a lot better.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because, before we close out, I think that, safety, we've talked about with John. I think we should have elaborated on a bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that.
If the punters are interested, just let us know, because I think we might chase that. The company was quite keen. This is a non-paid thing, so we don't accept money from sailing brands. I'm not sure why we decided that. That was my fault, I think.
No comment.
Well, no, we put the money. We tell the sailing brands to put the money back into sailing is what we do. We're trying to be altruistic here, but it'd be nice to have a bit of money, I think, coming in for. But yeah, so I think we might do that, BP, because it'll be worthwhile.
Sounds a plan.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Cool.
All right, good.
All good, mate?
Yeah, I'm happy, mate. I'm happy. It's always good catching up, and I thought having a chat to Dylan was good. There was a lot of hidden messages in that. So if it's if it's something you want to do and it's your dream, it doesn't matter to what level you succeed to. It's not about that. You did touch on it, but it's about the journey.
Yep.
If you're sort of going with that attitude, results will come.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So yeah, and if not, you can always be a ballerina.
I'll leave that option, or a podcaster.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
See everyone. Thanks for listening. You're always ready, BP. It's amazing. With the guitar.
Take me where the wind might be.